But I was talking to one of my friends today about he's a big Nate Robinson fan, and he didn't find none of this shit funny, really. I think he been following Nate Robinson ever since Nate Robinson was in high school, I think. But he didn't think this was funny, man. And after talking to him and looking at the situation, like I was telling him, I said, man, because I know about boxing, so that's why he called me and asked me about my opinion on the situation. And I had to tell him, I tell him the truth. I said Nate Robinson was lied to, man. People, so I said, I believe he was gassed up. He was gassed up to believe that he can go in there and beat somebody like Jake Paul. Jake Paul don't got 1 year experience. People, I hear a lot of people get saying Jake Paul got 1 year experience. Just because he got one fight under the lights don't mean he got 1 year experience. The guy got a gym, and the guy been studying boxing way longer than what people expect. Think he had. A lot of people just lying. A lot of people just lying just because they want to, tell jokes and shit. They think it's all funny, but this guy could have died last night. And it wouldn't have been funny if the guy would have got paralyzed. The guy would got paralyzed or got seriously hurt or got bleeding on the brain or anything seriously would have happened to this family man, this young black man who was a very young man, 36 years old, who have a whole lot of life ahead of him and who's not a really a bad off guy. So for his financial status, and he do a lot of things, and I think he do a lot of things on social media. That's why that's why I believe he was lied to, because he was not nobody just searching for a check. I believe somebody gassed him up, say, "Yo, if I train you, we can beat this guy just for a check." He was lied to for a check. And that's what people do, man. People will lie to you, deceive you, just to put money in their pockets. And I seriously believe that Nate Robinson was guided to this fight. Somebody told him, say, "Yo, with your popularity as being a three-time dunk champion, your athleticism, if I train you for 3 to 4 months, man, you could go in there and beat this kid." This is a white rich kid from Calabasas. He's a nerd from Calabasas. You everybody that fighting, everybody that fight, everybody that fight, everybody that can fight their ass off is not don't have to necessarily be poor. You don't have to necessarily come from humble beginnings to master something. If you really have a desire, you can look at the Ball brothers, for example. The Ball brothers didn't have to play basketball for a living. They chose to. Their father was a millionaire. Their father was a businessman and a millionaire. Was buying them Lamborghinis and shit like that got far before they even got into the sport. They was far before they even start making money off the sport. They still was living a lifestyle of a rich person, but they chose to put their life in the boxing. That's what they wanted to do. I'm quite sure they could have been businessmen, they could have been lawyers, they could have been congressmen. They had the opportunity to go to school and do whatever they wanted to do because their father was supporting them, but they wanted to play basketball. But they didn't grow up like LeBron James. They didn't grow up like a lot of these poor people that struggle for basketball. But on his level, he's just as good as a lot of these other people. But so that tells you, right? You don't have to be. Boxing is a different type of sport, man. It's really sweaty. It's really stinky. It's really hard on you. It breaks your body down. You gotta damn near kill yourself to make weight. Boxing is a very hard sport, and most people that choose that life do it just for living. I know people who box and make less than me, make less than 6 figures a year. Everybody you see in boxing is these are the top of the line. These are the cream of the crop. These are the cream of the Javante Tank Davises, the Deontay Wilders. These are not your average persons in boxing. They makes a whole lot of money. and they are extremely talented and gifted to be able to do what they do. You just look at Deontay Wilder with his limited boxing skills. With his limited boxing skills, the average boxer can't beat him. The average boxer can't beat him. That tells you something. The average boxer can't beat him. If he fight 40 more other right people, he would have like 40, 50 knockouts. It took a great fighter to beat him. Not saying that he can't beat him. Not saying that he can't beat him. But these are not the average persons. Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, and all these other guys, Teofimo Lopez. These people to make a dime in boxing, you got to be very special. To be fighting on TV in front of everybody, you have to be very special. That's why I didn't want to do it for a living. How what you have to put in it to be better than the average person was beyond what I was able to put in the sport. To be better than the average person, the things you have to do to say, okay, I want to win a title or I want to fight that elite, is nothing like you think it is. Cause I was on that trail from 92 to almost 94, almost 95. I was on that trail to becoming a top notch boxer. But what I had to put myself through, I said, man, to be the best, I'm not willing to give up that much of my body to do something that's not guaranteed. I can get into something that's guaranteed to put me in the six-figure range and I can buy a house and take care of my family. I don't have to put myself through this as something that's not guaranteed. But like I said, Nate Robbins was lied. He was lied to. He was in no shape. He didn't even know how. He didn't even know how to establish establish the proper distance. I'm not talking about to get his range, to get his proper range. He had no idea how to set up, just to throw a punch and how to connect on a person. That's like low level. That's the things that they teach you when you first start boxing. He was at the level where he shouldn't even been fighting in amateurs. He shouldn't even been in amateurs. He still should have been practicing on some Martin Lawrence shit. You supposed to be practicing your art, youngster. You don't need no lie. If you was practicing your art, yeah, man, this could have turned out real bad. For a couple of dollars, this could have turned out real ugly, and it would have only been in a sport like boxing that was sanctioned something so dangerous. Only boxing. You would never see. You would never see nobody. You would never see this in the UFC, with a person that has a size advantage and the boxing skill advantage over him. He have the size advantage. He got the boxing skill advantage. He got everything over this person. And some people was actually picking Nate Robinson to beat the fight that this guy's way bigger than him. And he had way more skills. Jake Paul is really a low level professional boxer. If you want to be honest, Jake Paul is a professional boxer at this time. At this point in his career, he's young. He put in the time to be fluent at boxing. Now, not quite. Let's say the people that fight on TV, the people that's really fluent in boxing, he probably can go rounds with them, but he probably lose. But he can be. I believe he can box for a living. He's at the point where he's only a few little. He's got to be sharpened up a little more. He will be able to box for a living. That's how good Jake. That's how good Jake Paul is. I don't know about his brother. His brother pretty good too. These guys have put in the hours. They don't got their 10,000 hours in of mastery. They don't master the sport. Jake Paul gonna make a lot of money in this sport, and you're gonna see that if Nate don't realize he was set up, he gonna realize after he see Nate Paul, Jake Paul and his brother knock out a few more people that they trick. I believe all this was a trick to get this guy in the ring for everybody to make a payday. Jake Paul needed an opponent, and I believe somebody put a bug in his ear, sent him down the wrong direction, and now He's a laughing stock of the world. Like 25 million people done viewed this thing. I think Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, if they continue on this path, they're not gonna be rich, they're gonna be wealthy. Mike Tyson on his way to becoming wealthy. If he keep boxing, if he keep picking the right opponents and keep ordering this, and the card was like jam. The card was interesting through the whole thing. The Badu Jack was very interesting. Jake Paul was very interesting, and Mike Tyson and Roy Jones was very nostalgic. You can just use your imagination and wonder and just put together what they would do if they was in their prime. So that fight was good on all levels. You knew Mike Tyson and Roy Jones was skilled enough to protect themselves without getting hurt. Mike Tyson ain't gonna do nothing stupid to get himself hurt, and Roy Jones ain't gonna get himself. This was the exhibition of the clearest extent. This was nothing more than an exhibition for charity and to get people wealthy and provide entertainment to the world, and that's exactly what they did. They provide a whole lot of entertainment. People are still buzzing, making memes off of this guy talking about Tyson. People got a lot of good things to talk about Tyson and a lot of bad things to talk. But I believe people would never call Roy Jones and Tyson broke again after this. I believe they made enough because Tyson had a lot of businesses set up anyway. And I don't know what Roy Jones was doing. But Roy Jones won't have to worry about nothing again in life because he made enough this night to sit to put a lot of money into some stocks and act like he never even made that money. That's how much money he probably made. And though he made a couple of million, I wouldn't be surprised to see walk away with 10, 15 million. But yeah, man, Nate Robinson was set up, man. It was the okey doke, man. Somebody ran game on him, and he bit the bait.